Hello everybody. So this video is entitled Bitcoin is not a lottery ticket, angry face. Let me try to explain my followers what is going on, or at least the way I understand this. And this understanding is mostly thanks to Marty Party. Go follow him on YouTube, go follow him on X. His streams have been so valuable for me understanding the short-term issues with Bitcoin. He's been on point on the short-term issues of Bitcoin. So typically what I do is on a Sunday night or on a Friday afternoon, like 2 hours within market close. And on Sunday night, I just pull up his stream. I go on his YouTube channel and I pull up the stream and I put it on a 75-inch screen. And it's always the same story. It almost makes you laugh. It's always the same story. There's a little bit of news that triggers a few liquidations, who trigger more liquidations, who end up triggering every lottery gamblers who were leveraged long on Bitcoin. And this has happened like almost every Sunday night. I think I can think about one Sunday night where that didn't happen a while back. But and of course today is a bigger drop than usual. But this has happened so many times on Sunday nights. So this is what happens. You see. So anything below the line are the gamblers that the market makers. And we don't know who, but I don't know if I'm allowed to say. But anyways, there's one market maker, that holds the card. Like they see who's leveraged, and these are all positions that need to be liquidated. They need to be liquidated, these positions. And so whenever the price of Bitcoin gets down to these lines, the lines disappear because that means a quote-unquote gambler has been liquidated. A trader gambler has been liquidated. Because you see, what happens is when you do 50 to 1 leverage or 100 to 1 leverage, if you do 100 to 1 leverage, you just need the price of Bitcoin to drop by 1% for you to be liquidated. And so a lot of people, they're calculating 100 to 1 leverage. So if I'm going to double my money if Bitcoin goes up 1%. So they're looking for like a get rich quick type of trading. And I don't know what kind of TikTok promotes this. I don't know what kind of subculture this is of people looking at buying these perps like a lottery ticket to go from $1,000 to $1 million. But it usually doesn't happen like that. Like the casino always wins. Las Vegas always wins. You go to the casino, they're going to win, right? It's like 100x leverage is insane. Like on this channel, I've said before that I suppose you can draw during a big market drawdown maybe 10% of your available margin. Right? So I'm like 0.1 leverage. Right? These people are 1,000 times more leverage than what I consider risky leverage. Of course they get wiped out, and every time they get wiped out. And who's getting rich? Well, perhaps some of the people behind those platforms who wipe them out. So, I know a lot of people are trying to justify the drop beyond gambling. But this drop has everything to do with gambling. People think Bitcoin is a lottery ticket, and so they place bets with insane leverage, trying to get rich quick, trying to get rich overnight. Because I am sorry, if you look at the stock futures, so S&P 500, NASDAQ, Dow, they dropped slightly. They are down slightly because the news this Sunday evening, quite frankly, is very garden variety. I know everybody is trying to initiate fear for engagement. If you have a fearful post, you're going to lead an engagement. So the winner of engagement tonight is Japanese yields hitting 1%. If this is not a surprise, this was well visible on the chart, first of all. And then second of all, I listen to a lot of macro podcasts, right? With a channel named Beat the Denominator. I love macro podcasts. I can tell you, the unwinding of a carry trade is something that they've talked for years. People have been slowly unwinding it. Hedge funds have been slowly unwinding it for years. There is nothing new in this news coming out of Japan, except that 1% makes a good headline. But there is nothing new. Now, new Fed chair, if you look at poly market, it seems like it's going to be asset. A lot of people think it's going to be asset. Okay, well, this is an extremely bullish news for the market, and therefore, is it the sell the news event? Maybe, maybe not. That's why the stocks are down by 1/3%. Maybe that's the reasons. And I think what would have been the most legitimate fear in the market, which would have been strikes in Venezuela. Donald Trump said something like no-fly zone or whatever. I don't follow that too closely, but that would have been, that wouldn't have been the first time that could have happened on a Sunday morning. You may remember 6 months back. But that didn't happen either. So the news this evening is a very garden variety. It's nothing at all. It's nothing at all. So how do you explain the delta between the stock futures and Bitcoin? The only explanation is because people use Bitcoin as a lottery ticket. That's the only explanation. That's why it dropped 5K. Is you have a bunch of people who got on leveraged bets. They got leveraged longs, and they always get liquidated because the exchange can see, like the house sees that you placed the bet. They see that you placed a bet 100 to 1, 50 to 1. They see that you have 50 to 1 leverage. So they're like, okay, well, I want to wipe them out. I want to take all of their money. So let me drop the price by 2%. And of course, that is unfortunately, I don't want to say that's legal, but that's not explicitly illegal in crypto right now because we don't have a Clarity Act, because we don't have a Crypto Clarity Act, because the government was shut down. So this is all temporary. We're going to get a Crypto Clarity Act, but unfortunately on Sunday night and on Friday afternoons, we're going to keep getting insane volatility. And again, look at the Nasdaq, look at the S&P. This is a Bitcoin specific issue, and that's due to the gamblers that we have who unfortunately buy our assets, and we definitely would do much better without gamblers. This is not a get rich overnight type of asset. Bitcoin is a long philosophical, technical, economic Austrian journey, and it takes years to understand Bitcoin. It's about having low time preference. It's about the long run, and not about gambling. But unfortunately, this is what we get in the short term, and it's very frustrating, and I understand. But rest assured, in my view, nothing is broken with Bitcoin. Nothing is broken. So anyways, this is not investment advice. This is not financial advice. This is only entertainment. Please like, please subscribe, follow me on Patreon, follow me on X. Thank you for watching, and have a wonderful, wonderful day.